Well, hey. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus your video game enthusiast industry analyst. And today, for April 13th, 2026, I'll run through the latest gaming news, what I've been playing, etc., etc. Hopefully, everyone had a good weekend. I did. Hey, what's up, Jim Killex? Good to see you. No, I did. It was, Saturday was a cool, chill day. I got to play a lot of video games on Saturday, so I'll talk about that here shortly. But also, here's something that's cool. Part of Adam lore is I got this Blade action figure from the Wolverine and Deadpool movie, which I'm overall disappointed in. This is the only good thing about it, is they had Wesley Snipes show up as Blade, and it was pretty awesome. And I remember when the first Blade movie came out, I thought it was the greatest thing I ever saw. Bought the action figures, and they've never really had any good action figures. I would even say this is okay enough. But the original Blade action figure they came out with, the Wesley Snipes sculpt, the articulation, for when that figure came out, that was probably the best, I think. We could look at like the McFarlane toys at the time were very detailed, but the Blade figure was just a straight up articulated, detailed figure. Like it was, what am I trying to say? It was an exact representation. It wasn't like a kid toy, because it was Blade. So I never really thought about that before. Actually, that Blade line that came out was probably at that point the most like adult collector. Like, and that's the thing. Being Marvel Legends, again, the sculpt is good on this, but like, I don't know, Marvel Legends, lean a little more toy, than collectible. But anyway, what else did I get up to this weekend? I shot a cool video that went up on Gundam Explained. I had a lot of fun with that one. But let's just jump into the games I've been playing. That's what we're really here for. Okay. It was so much fun. Let's start with Captain Blood. I've played it here on the channel before. This was a game that was, supposed to come out like 20 years ago, maybe, on 360, and then it never happened, but then they finally got a chance to get it to come out. So it plays like an older game. I've played it on here, and when I say older, like God of War clone, pretty much. Anyway, I'm playing through it, and here's the thing. There are a lot of things about it that would probably turn people off. In fact, there are times where I'm like, this just doesn't feel good. This is great. But it's like, let's push through it. Look, the controller I have in my hand is the limited set of options I have to navigate through this world, manipulate the world. What can I do to cheese the best I can in these situations where the game is a little unfair? And there's this thing in the game where and to explain it, it's like a beat 'em up, but some of the enemies have guns, and they do this thing where they'll shoot you and then like run away and then shoot you and run away. And it's so annoying. And even if they shoot you and I will roll forward to them to move in close, they immediately have a combo where then they melee you. They're the most annoying enemies in the game, even though I can kill them quicker than other enemies. Anyway, that part of it I could totally get, where people are like, okay, just like there's times where the game just, in a way, it's just timing. If you're not immediately aggressive, you will be quickly overwhelmed, and then your health, you might as well start over. But what's cool is, just let me rewind back a little bit. I've been wanting to play this game for a while, and I was debating when to get it. It's just a $25 game, so it's not too expensive, but it was on sale on Xbox, and it's a play anywhere. That's like my favorite. I love collecting those. So it's basically, I could play on PC or play on Xbox, and because of the graphics and the presentation, it's just fun to play on the Xbox in the living room. I just like that I have the option. And then another game that was on sale, the Castlevania Dominus Collection. Yes, I already own it on Switch and PC, but I love these games. I play them all the time. So I actually went through the beginning of each game in that, the 3DS games, and then the remake of Haunted Castle. And just had some fun. It's like listening. Part of it is just chilling to listen to music. Okay, and then this other one, Zeus collection or Zeus collection. I've always had this uh, saved as a favorite or my wish list or whatever. Um, and it would always be on sale on PC, but I really wanted this on Switch. It plays like Space Harrier. You're in mechs. I might have to do some gameplay for the channel, but yeah, it's pretty fun. It's 2 games, and yeah, it's like $5. So okay, and the Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition. So I heard a rumor about a new Metro game coming out, and I hadn't played Exodus, or I played maybe a little bit of it. And it's interesting that it's only 28 minutes because that's like how much it was before. But anyway, I just jumped in. I wanted to at this point, like with my PC, I can have the graphics set to max, and it's fun. It looks good. It's I've been in this mood to try to get into FPSs because I don't think I've been playing them enough. Oh wait, here we go. Here's something interesting. There's the Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition that shows Windows, and then down here Steam. Why? I am confused. Did I play them both? Do I have them both? Both 28 minutes. I'm not going to think about it too hard. Okay, other FPS, when I was just talking about first-person shooters, is Alien Rogue Incursion. I've been wanting to go ahead and finish it, and I guess when I was playing Metro, which originally I played earlier, it was making me think of aliens, because, shooting mutants, aliens. But here's the other thing. It's on PS5, and I want to make use of having that PS5 Pro that I traded in for. So yeah, I decided to jump into some more Alien Rogue Incursion, and you know what? That's a fun game. I need to just go ahead and beat it. Okay, moving on. Crimson Skies, High Road to Revenge, classic Xbox game. Had it when the first Xbox came out. Beat it, loved it. We've always wanted a sequel. Victor Lucas of Electronic Playground over on his YouTube channel was playing it, and it just got me to want to play. So it was funny that I, because what I will do is, and this was Saturday morning, I had my phone with my earbuds in, and I was just walking around the house, like cleaning, straightening things, just listening to him, and then he's playing it, and I'm like, I really want to play it. So I go to sit down, and luckily I could download it instantly, load it up, and when I continued, I happened to be just where he was. And it's funny because then it felt good to kind of just play the game while he was playing it. Pretty much the same area because you could choose missions within an area. And just going along with him as he's talking about how much fun he had with the game back in the day, and I'm reminiscing too, and that they should make a sequel. And then it was funny because he even started talking about the Snoopy Ace, what is it called? Game. Snoopy Flying Ace. That was on, I think that was 360. Great game. Another that's in the same vein where it's like slightly arcadey flight combat, but there's a little more to it where part of the fun is flying and shooting. Anyway, that was just a fun time. Okay, moving on. Sigma Star Saga. This came out this week. I totally forgot. So Friday, I went ahead and it looks like, I'm buying all these games. Well, actually, Sigma Star Saga, $25. XA's Collection, $5. Captain Blood, $12. So like if you're looking to get some games, again, it's like where I can spend $70 on a new game, like I did with Crimson Desert last, back when it came out, or buy a handful of games. It always feels good. But Sigma Star Saga from Game Boy Advance, I had it, back when it came out, and I even remember playing it up until probably 2013, potentially. Was it 2013? I would have the GBA micro, and I had it in there. And what they did for this release is really good. Just made some basic quality of life improvements just to make it a more easily to, what am I trying to say? The flow of the game. There's a better pacing. The pacing of the game, because you're switching from shmup to kind of like a town, walk around, talk to people, to then like out exploring, adventuring, and encounters when you're on foot. Are you getting teleported into a random ship? Like the story explains it, and then you're doing shmupping where you're getting XP. They did just the right tweaks they needed to for that GBA version for this modern version to work, and it's a lot of fun. It's made by WayForward, the original game, which this updated one, I think it's a different company, but WayForward, you guys probably know them from, a bunch of different stuff they did in the past, but then they split off, and then there was Yacht Club Games, and then they did a bunch of different stuff like Shovel Knight, and then Mina the Hollower that's coming out. But it's a cool game. You know, it's very interesting how many like games came out on Game Boy Advance that are pretty neat and interesting and different during a time where everyone was really going 3D. But and then yeah, Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition again. I think it's interesting. It's showing up Steam and both 28 minutes. I mean, that doesn't really matter. I just find that fascinating. Okay, and then here's another one, Scars Above, 30 cents. Yep. I think that's what it was. I remember hearing about this. The reviews are not great. But this is an example. It reminds me of playing Captain Blood, where, and this is the thing, like with video games, like these games are kind of lower budget. They're not perfectly produced, but that's part of the charm of the game. And when that happens, a lot of times it's easier for me to feel what the game is wanting you to do so that you can easily find the edges of combat, of gameplay. And I really like that. Sometimes when a game is too polished or is built to have too many systems, and I wouldn't say Crimson Desert falls in this, but it kind of does. Crimson Desert has that survivability aspect that kind of gets into what I'm getting at. But a lot of games out there that are a lot super like polished, modern playing games, sometimes it's almost like you're just going through the pacing, the what am I trying to say? Going through that loop of what the game presents to you. Whereas some games that have harder edges or are a little less developed, there's just a little charm to it where it comes to where you can kind of manipulate or game things a little differently, and I can feel that sometimes. And it's almost like this sub meta layer of the game where it's like, okay, this is how the game works. And again, not like Crimson Desert, where they show that recent example where someone put a log on a bridge where it's hanging barely, and then put an apple on the edge of the log, and NPCs will pick up food you put down, and they would go on the log and fall. Now that's a neat way to game the system in terms of the physics, but I mean more of when you're playing a game and you can tell like maybe a hitbox or an animation is something that you can kind of game. Anyway, and I enjoy that. So Scars Above plays, it's almost like a Souls-like light, where it presents encounters and exploration and shortcuts like a Souls game. But I also was told it's better to play on easy, so I have it on easy. And I mean, it's not hard, but I do enjoy kind of going through the flow of the game in that way. So anyway, that was a lot to say about Scars Above. So check that out. And I think that's really about it. Yeah, that was really cool. And that was mainly Saturday. I think I played a little bit of Captain Blood on Sunday, but even Sunday, I didn't even really play video games. I think wife and I went out. Kids were doing their things. Yeah, so it was a fun Saturday. So that made me think I really have to update this. So let's see. What's another game? Let's go through this. I keep forgetting if started this year. Yeah, it's going to be a game that came out this year or came out previous. And if it's a game that came out previous and I beat it, I'll put it on previous. And then, yeah, if it's a game that came out this year, I'll put it here. So if we look at a couple things, I want to add, yeah, Captain Blood here. Going through the motions. That is exactly the terminology I was looking for. Okay, Xeus collection. All right, and then, wait, did I have? Oh, that was from last year, the Alien game. Sigma Star Saga. Oops. I have my keyboard angled just for the presentation, and it threw me off. Okay. And I think, yeah, Scars Above. And then I think we're good. And I didn't play any Crimson Desert. There's a patch coming out with some updates. And then, yeah, I just wanted to take a little break because in order to just keep the enjoyment of gaming, I know that when I get, yeah, It's usually the 20 to 30 hour mark in a game where it starts falling off for me. It's not for Crimson Desert, but I need to mix in. That's why I'm playing all these different types of games to kind of like get the palette. Here's another example of like, it's drumming. I love to drum. Sometimes I'll go a long time not drumming, and then I go back, and then it feels different. It happened when I was doing kickboxing. I went a few weeks where I wasn't kickboxing and went back, and I just felt like my brain was like creating these new connections to do it. And it happens with video games. That's that idea, like you're having trouble on a boss, leave, come back. That's like a micro version of that. But yeah, Crimson Desert, I just see so much more that I cannot wait to do. And I already have in my head like my plans of, well, after I do these certain quests, I'm going to do some exploration. So, all right, let's jump into some news. I don't even think there's much news. Was there? What was I was looking up? Okay, there's going to be a Call of Duty. Here's some Modern Warfare 4, which okay. It's funny how they did Modern Warfare then Black Ops. It's like they're too scared to just come up with something else. So, wow, that would be neat if they did Call of Duty World War III and they used modern factions today. Would they be able to get away with that? Okay. So apparently there's going to be a Microsoft show on the 16th. I don't know if it's a State of Play. No, that's Sony. Direct? Is that's Nintendo. A showcase? Who knows what they call them? Anyway, that's where, I heard the news about this new Metro 2039, so I wanted to play the previous one a little bit more. It's the only one I hadn't played through. And I don't know. So there's other rumors that seem to be coming out around this time, like the new Assassin's Creed, the Black Flag resynced. So it's like the original Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I'm assuming they're going to use maybe the engine like they used in Mirage as a way to quickly iterate and get something up. I would play that. I remember playing the original. Wait, you know what? Let me see if that shows up on my list. Let's see. Oh, yeah. 29 hours. There you go. That's the typical, again, my typical length of a game. If I really like a game, I could play up to 30 hours in it before. So, yeah, it would be kind of fun to jump back in, especially with quality of life improvements and everything. Okay. And then something else where there's a report about Fable getting pushed because of GTA 6, but apparently that's not the case. So let's see. Here we go. I was just talking about this Metro 2039 to be announced on April 16th. Microsoft announces new Xbox First Look showcase for later this week. Okay, so this just got announced then. Just announced. Yeah, April 13th, 2026. Tune in on Thursday for Xbox First Look Metro 2039. Okay. Is it just for Metro? That's interesting. Or is it... That'd be interesting if that's all it was, but there could be other announcements around it. Let's see. Like the Assassin's Creed. Let's see. Sorry, just scrolling through to see if there's any other... It's interesting. So Starfield came out on PS5, but it's been crashing. I've been seeing a lot of videos about that. People that I follow on Twitter are saying, hey, yeah, mine's been crashing. I'm trying to start it up again. So I'm hearing about way more people having crashes in Starfield than people just playing it. Let's see. Interesting. Xbox reporter suggests Microsoft is being more lenient with its gaming profit goals. This has given Xbox extra breathing room. Who knows? It could be someone saying that, but that would be cool if it's true. Obscure Mega Man game given the Game Boy remake nobody asked for. Mega Man 2, the LCD game, has been given a brand new lease on life. Oh, let's see what this is. Wow, look at that. So it's like one of those, man, I remember having a few of these when I was younger, and I always knew it wasn't good. Like I had a bunch of the Ninja Turtle ones. I say a bunch, maybe one or two. Um, yeah, that's fun, but it just was neat to have something that size. Funny, and it has the background and everything. Well, I'm not gonna play that, but that is cool. You know what though? That makes me think of getting one of the old ones I had, like the Ninja Turtle one, because I can hear the sound effects in my head when I was trying to play it, and I couldn't figure out anything I was doing, and I would just die. Yeah, it sounded like an old man, the voice of the Ninja Turtles when yelling. Um, anyway, I think I really need to check that out. Okay, here's something interesting. I've heard a couple different things. One, I heard, and when I say I heard, I read funny rumor, might not even be true, but the idea of Disney buying Epic. You know, Epic is in a poor spot right now. Disney put $1 billion investing into them. And now we're hearing that Disney is coming out with an extraction shooter in the Fortnite engine. So this is crazy. This is crazy. Just like, I don't think it's necessarily crazy that it's a Disney extraction shooter. I just think it's crazy that it's one of these things where these big companies are like, "Oh, what's big? Extraction shooter? Okay." And it's like, is that really big? I mean, even Marathon's not doing that great. Which, by the way, I really want to play Marathon. It's just one of those things about dropping 40 on a game that I might not have fun playing online. I have no idea, just since it's just PvP. That's what made it easy to pay for uh, Crimson Desert. Even though it was 70, I think I had a gift card. But still, I was paying full price for the game because I knew the content I was getting. But anyway, kind of going back to the extraction shooters, it's interesting that Disney's doing this. I mean, and it could work because it's Disney characters, and it could be taking the Arc Raiders path, which I need to play Arc Raiders. The idea that it's a little easier by yourself, or it's easy to play, and you don't have to really worry about things as much. And that's, there's that balance with gaming. A lot of times there's a cool idea for a game, but maybe it's just a little too difficult. But once it's sort of, it's not to be made easy, it's to make it easier to enjoy the game. And I think a good example have been the Castlevania games. When I was younger, when I was first playing Castlevania on the NES, I never beat those games. Those were hard. And then as like a game like Symphony of the Night came out, where yes, it was a little easier, but it was also bigger. There was a lot more exploration. I was able to constantly be doing the thing and keep going. I think that's the direction. Um, yeah, with Crimson Desert, they have gone back, and I even brought this up, to add the difficulty settings now. So as they've optimized the game to be very easy for everyone, then they've now went back and I say very easy, but I think it's more of making certain segments or sections, things approachable, easily approachable for people, which I think accessible is what I'm trying to say, which is perfectly fine, but that's got to be balanced somehow. Anyway, let's move on. Xbox's Asher Sharma speaks on camera for first time. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what that is. Let's see. First four figures reveal Sonic Adventure 2 statues. Well, that's cool. I'm not gonna buy that, but that is cool. No, yeah, that Fable rumor I think got shut down. Let's see. 3DO FPGA core cannot be accurate on the Mister, says creator. Huh. Creator of the Mister's Amazing Sega Saturn core has admitted that his in-development 3DO core for the platform may never achieve 100% accuracy. Well, of course, so the big headache comes from VRAM emulation. Interesting, which eventually we'll be able to get around that, either through AI or just some other means. I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard with the PS3, with RCPS3, they've updated the emulation. Not only is it like nearly 80% of titles run perfectly, but you can even play it. I think it's MVG is the channel showing him play it on a ROG Ally. Now it's the Xbox ROG Ally, but Still just showing how smooth and easy. But yeah, I was running the emulator on my ROG Ally perfectly fine. I guess it depends on the games people were playing. I'm usually playing more obscure games that, weren't big titles, so that could be what it is. Oh, what's this? Hopes of Neo Geo hardware revival triggered by ES. So I'm gonna step back. You know how I've talked about how there's so many of those retro handhelds come out? I mean, I have one right here, and I just put one back behind me. I love these things. And then all these companies are coming out with stuff. Evercade came out with the new Nexus. Even Atari came out with it. And it seems like Neo Geo is oh, let's jump on this too, which, hey, is a good idea. And they even did one earlier, I think, 5 years ago. But anyway, then I think no one expected all this RAM issues to start, the Steam machine and all that, and all these RAM issues. And so I wonder what happened where there's oh, we announced this, oh crap, the economy has changed. But then I've been coming across videos about the RAM prices going back down. So I don't know. Part of me thinks this hardware revival is cool in a way. Because I don't mind having interesting, specific, neat hardware. It's just I get to the point, and I do this with action figures. If they come out with a new action figure, as far as I know, with this latest Marvel Legends Wolverine Gamerverse, any previous Wolverine action figure I have is now obsolete, and I don't really care. Sure, it might have been my first, and it might be unique on its own, but this is the ultimate one. So it's like that with consoles. I don't mind having consoles, but for me, it's much more practical to use a PC for older stuff and then just have the two latest, But, I got a PS3 a few years ago to play some games that I couldn't emulate. So there's areas where you want to grab a game now, or a console. Now, what I'm trying to get at here is we get to a point where these consoles that could be made have more quality of life or future-proofness to them. One, HDMI ports for sure, wireless technology for the controllers, but network. If there's a way you can network either by a Wi-Fi card, USB, in terms of interfacing, it's hard. It's like you're not going to hack a Sega Genesis like you would hack a PS4. There's so much more you could get out of hacking a PS4. So I guess what I'm getting at is I would totally go back to buying hardware, to have unique experiences if all the quality of life things are there. And part of that for me is the networking, being able to connect to the internet. That really has to do with if I wanted to transfer saves, transfer games back and forth, download games. But also retro achievements. I love that system. So so this is just a long way of saying I'm totally interested in what these companies are doing with hardware, but I wonder if this is just another bubble of that with the retro handhelds. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, Liquid Sword CEO Christopher Sundberg announced a speaker. Okay, I just want to bring this up because they came out with that Samsung game that I didn't play because even though it's $25, and I thought, oh, that would be great to buy as a bunch of games I could buy for the weekend, but the reviews weren't that great. It's funny, even though it's as cheap as it is, even being $25, people are complaining about it, and so that's not a good sign. But I do like the pedigree or the history of the developer. I'll have to try it sometime eventually soon. We'll see if they actually start adding updates to it too. Okay, so, Super Mario Galaxy movie now surpassed Sonic 3 movie at worldwide box office. That's pretty cool. Anything else? I think that might be it. Yeah, there's been a lot of Forza. So that's talking about 4, but a lot of Forza stuff. Some, I guess, influencers got early access to playing the new Forza Horizon 6. So I think that's been popping up a lot. But yeah, I think that's it. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to head out. That's about it for today. Yeah, that's it with the news. Nothing too crazy, but I think what was fun was the gameplay Saturday of all the different games I was playing. Castlevania, the old school God of War like with that Captain Blood. It was a good time playing games. So yeah, let me know in the comments what games you've been playing this past weekend. So I'll be back Wednesday with some more, guys. But until next time, have a good one. See y'all.